Okay, so completing this one, 1 times x gives you x. 6 times 1 gives you 6. That equals 15x. So we're going to subtract 15x from both sides. And we're going to get, well, 15x minus 15x. And then we're going to get negative 14x, because x minus 15x is negative 14x, plus 6 equals 0. But then, of course, we're going to want to subtract 6 from both sides. So we get negative 14x equals negative 6. Then we want to divide both sides by negative 14. So x equals negative 6 over 14 over negative 14. Well, since it's a negative by a negative, we can write it as positive, but of course we can reduce that to 3/7. Okay? All that familiar? Hopefully so. Okay. Now let's go to this one. We've got 5 over 2x plus 2 equals 4 over 7. Okay, you get this. That's actually better if you use 7x, which is also a common denominator, but I don't want to get into that. But if you understand that 7x would be your least common denominator, then by all means you can use that. You can always use the least common denominator. I don't want to confuse the issue with least common denominators right now, so I'm not going to, but later on we will. Okay, so there's your common denominator. So you multiply by, now I'll just do 14x over 1, because that's the same as multiplying by 14x. Well, there's shortcuts you can take here, but I just can't trust anybody that came out of our system to take those shortcuts at this point. No offense. Okay? Once you understand this, then you can start to understand the shortcuts and use them reliably. Okay? So, 14x times 5. Now I'm going to shortcut this a little bit. I'm just going to do the multiplications, because we know, if we know how to multiply fractions, we know we multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. And 14x times 2 is 28x, and that's over 1. That equals 56x over 7. So just by multiplying by the 14x, we get this. Now, a lot of times the textbook will teach you to start crossing things out. Again, our curriculum doesn't produce people who can reliably cross things out. Okay? Produces a few, but 80%, 90% come out screwing up their cancellation. Okay? So we do this, then we can write this as 70 over 2 times x over x equals plus, now I can, since I got the one denominator, I can just write 28x here, equals 56 over 7 times x over 1. Okay? And that means 70 over 2 is 35, x over x is 1, and we have 28x, and this equals 56 divided by 7 is 8, and x over 1 is x. Okay? So our equation's been simplified to 35 plus 28x equals 8x, and then you can solve it. Okay? time here. I said we'd usually end at 1:20, but we'll be done here in a couple of minutes. I'm giving an assignment, so that's not messing anybody up, is it? Okay. Last equation was 2 over x plus 1 plus 3 equals 5 over 8. The common denominator is 8 times x plus 1. Because you got denominator 8, you got denominator x plus 1. And you want to write it out that way, and that's what you want to multiply by. If you do anything else, it's going to be hard to see what divides out and what doesn't. You're going to make it more difficult. So you want to write these literally as they are. Okay? So now you get 8 times x plus 1 over 1 multiplied by 2 over x plus 1 plus 8 times x plus 1 over 1 times 3 over 1. That stuff isn't going to wash easily. I probably have to repaint the board. Equals 8 times x plus 1 over 1 times 5 over 8. Okay. Now, how am I going to rearrange this? Well, I guess I can write it out. I mean, that's multiply the numerators. Should be clear. I get 16 times x plus 1 over x plus 1. And then I get 8 times x plus 1. Well, that's times 3. Gives me 24 times x plus 1. Dazzling purple colors obscured that 3 for a minute. And that equals 40 times x plus 1 over 8. Okay? Now, I'm going to skip down to here where I've got a little room to write. What's 16 times x plus 1 over x plus 1? How are you going to write that? Well, you're going to do what we've done before. Just because it's an x plus 1 rather than an x doesn't make any difference. We can still write this as 16 over 1 times x plus 1 over x plus 1. And what's x plus 1 over x plus 1? Well, any number you divide by itself is 1. How many x plus 1s does it take to make x plus 1? 1 of them. Okay? That's how you really want to think about division, instead of as a button you punch in a calculator. Okay? Then we get 24x plus 24, because all I've done is use the distributive law here. I can get that out of the way. And then this equals 40 over 8 times x plus 1 over 1. Now we can write this as 16 times 1, and we have our 24x plus 24. 40 divided by 8 is 5. That's multiplied by x plus 1. And from there, you can solve it.